Ladies and gentlemen, season 27 draws to a close with only 2 rounds left. We are nearing a championship decision, and tonight it is Abu Dhabi that will host this race. My name is Austin Smith, and before we get into tonight's action, let's quickly look back at a couple things that you might have missed last week, but also over on Twitter. First off, it is season 28. The announcement is out, the final chapter on F1 2020. The console tiers calendar has been released and signups are now open, and the calendar, I gotta say, it looks quite juicy. We have Bahrain Short making its debut on the calendar. We have Singapore, Austria, Belgium, Netherlands, France, Canada, Japan, Azerbaijan, and the season finale in Brazil next season. You see the dates there as well. So if you want to take part, head to premiersimgl.com and sign up right now. Now, looking back at last week, it was, of course, the race of Mexico, and it was VSR Juiced who won that race in the Williams. CRG Matthijs, he is fully back now, I think it is safe to say. Got second place. Wouters in third, Duncan fourth, Casper fifth, Vasa Racer 6, Suso 7, Dylan Warren 8, Liam 9. 2 reserve drivers in the points. Fantastic results for both of them. And Christmas got the final point. Christmas's teammate Wouters, not only a podium, also driver of the day last week. We look at the driver standings with 2 races left. This is where it's important. Sparks leading Juiced by 15 points. We have all but 5 drivers already eliminated. Oh no, sorry, actually, hold on. No, we have all but 3 drivers already eliminated. Sparks, Juiced, and Wouters, the only ones who still have a technical chance at the championship. And I say technical mostly because of Wouters. That's 26 points. You only get 16 for a win, plus potentially the fastest lap. So even if he wins this race today, Sparks scores nothing, he would still be 9 points behind, and it would be a huge task. So only 3 drivers capable of winning the championship at this point. In the team standings, it is a lot closer. Haas at 124, only 12 a second place ahead of Williams, and another 12 ahead of Alfa Romeo. So it is incredibly close there. Mathematically, I think there's still 5 teams that can win the championship, but realistically, I think the top 3 are going to fight this out between each other. And with that, I will bring in, once again, standing in for Owen Wyatt tonight, it is a voice you all know, you all recognize from the F2 for the most part this season. Filling in once again, it is Dan V8 Field. Dan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing so well, and I'm so excited to be back for another week in F1. Of course, Owen will most likely be back next week, so you don't have to miss him too much. But from today, I'll be standing in, and then I'll be gone back to F2 for next week. But well, I'm really excited for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix because we could see a new PSGL F1 champion crowned in CRG Sparks.
Yeah, we could. He is the only one who can win the championship tonight. If anyone else stays in the championship, they could take the lead, but they can't clinch the title tonight. Only Sparks is capable of doing that. That is generally a rule in the last sort of with 2 races left to go. Only the championship leader generally can clinch the title. The only exception to that would be if they were tied, and you know, maybe the countback could change. You know, could change things. It's very, very tied, which it isn't. It's 15 points. So all that Sparks has to do is outscore second place, outscore his rival Juiced by 2 points. 2 points is all it takes. 2 points more. In fact, Sparks has it in its own hands. If he wins, there's nothing Juiced can do at all to keep the championship open.
So really all the pressure is on Yost to keep this championship alive for him. He's just got to pull it out of the bag and hope that Sparks does not have a up to standard performance like he did in Mexico. Of course, getting damaged pretty early on in the Grand Prix, completely screwing any chance that he had of any points. And yeah, it was really unfortunate for him to be in that situation. But speaking of his main championship rival in Juice. He's just coming through the second sector split actually right now into the third sector. He's going to be the first driver to put in a lap, and I'll tell you what, I've been watching him on this one. He's looking really strong so far.
Yeah, we've been on him as well. Obviously, we're always trying to catch the first driver to set a lap. And looking at the timing sheets right now, the fastest one in the first sector is actually Blizzard. And he is also the fastest in the second sector. So expect Blizzard to be significantly faster and possibly, if he gets a good final sector as well, to put in a fantastic lap. Here is Juiced first with a 132.1. We are immediately going to switch to Blizzard. Sparks right behind Juiced. That would keep the championship open if they finish like that. Blizzard, however, 31.9, and that is a remarkable time this early on. I mean, that's more than just a banker lap.
Really strong time coming out there from Blizzard, of course, a former PSGL F1 champion. He's not quite had the same form that he used to back in those days. Got a couple more drivers across the line. F1 Ferrari finishing off a lap. I believe Basta Racer is through the final sector now, and if I'm not mistaken... Wow.
31.8. Let's actually hold on. Let's actually show the gap to leader here, because this looks even closer now. 44 thousandths of a second there from Vasta Racer. Who else is on a lap? I see Casper out there. And yeah, he's on a good one. He's had a good first sector, slightly faster than Vasta Racer. Second sector, slightly slower, but certainly a good time. However, we also have to look at Sergi Matthijs, and I don't know who's going to be first across the line of these two. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it is going to be Casper. But Matthijs one to keep an eye out on, and we are going to do that as we see Casper running wide there. That was legal, surprisingly. 3/10 down P6, and now we look at Matthijs coming through the last two corners. First sector a bit slower, a 10th down. Second sector, though, a half a 10th up, so he might challenge for the top 5, and he does indeed. P5 it is, 3/10 down, just in between the championship rivals of Juiced and Sparks.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent enough time from Matthijs to put himself in. Casper in 7th. Of course, Casper won it last time on circuit, and he made a statement on Twitter saying that he still can do it. And I believe the PSGL Twitter retweeted it saying, still got it, never lost it. So he needs to get better performance in qualifying the 8th. But I certainly think he's got the potential to do so. I'm trying to find someone further up on a lap at the moment if you're on board with anyone.
Yeah, I'm looking at Suso right now. Suso and Gamer, the only two drivers that are still on a lap. Everyone else on their in-laps back into the pit lane. Suso first two sectors were looking very quickly. It's not looking too good. Already 3/10 down on Vasta Race, and the last sector is still to come, and it's a long one, around 35, almost 36 seconds. So takes a long time to get around that final sector. A lot of slow corners, and this is where you can really lose some time. And you see here, Suso, another half a second lost in that final sector on Vasta Racer. Now we look at Gamer. I think his time is a bit better. If my mouse could work. There we go. It does now. There's some technical difficulties. 10th down in the first, 10th down in the second. Yeah, he should be pretty high up there. Did he invalidate?
Dated in the final sector, coming up the penultimate corner, unfortunately. That time was actually level with his CRG comrade, excuse the pun, of time, and he did a 32.117, I believe.
Yeah, 176. It was exact. It was 1,000th of a second quicker than Timon was, so would have been good enough for P5, but that invalidation in the final corner cost him dearly. However, it seems like he's almost going for another run. No, he's not. The ERS is down to 0, but still a pretty good first sector. Needs to be said. I don't know why. His first sector is actually slightly far. Oh no, sorry, it's 3 seconds off. I read a 9 as a 6, so it was 19 seconds instead of 16. So I was a bit confused there, but he was exactly 3 seconds slower in the first sector. Apologies, I can't read.
I believe a couple more drivers are actually on their out laps now. They're going to about start the second wave of laps almost, and I believe one of the drivers at the sharp end of the grid at the moment as terms of track position where they are on the circuit is the championship leader in Sparks. He's just coming to the final sector now. He'll be the first one to set his second lap of the session to begin this run here. this could be the night he pulls it all off.
Yeah, this is where he can crown himself as the season 27 PSGL F1 champion. Is he going to be able to do it? He needs a good qualifying. We know this track, it does have overtaking opportunities, but if you get stuck in the traffic, it's going to be hard to overtake, especially if you're in a DRS train. And with how close these drivers are, it is rather likely that you do find yourself in a DRS train. So Sparks needs a good qualifying here. Certainly needs to get ahead of Juiced on the grid.
At the moment, he's just through the second sector, down one of the main opportunities for an overtake in through this second sector chicane, coming onto the second of, I believe, 3 DRS straights around the circuit. He was just a little bit down on Domi's fastest purple sector 1, but that was only about by 5 thousandths of a second. So we'll see the improvement through the second sector. He's only 300 up on this lap. I believe he's actually lost some time through sector 2. We'll see him coming through this very tricky part in sector 3. Up towards the fast right-hander, which immediately will become a bit can easily lock up. We'll see him through into this beautiful section where you're coming underneath the Armco barrier and underneath the hotel to now finish up on this lap. We'll see him now through the final 2 corners here. Spot, he's up strong through this final sector. We'll see him now through the final corner and out to finish up this lap. Where's this going to put him on the grid? Put him 3rd, just behind Blizzard, and decent way off of Vasta Racer.
Yeah, it needs to be said, the biggest improvement here was the final sector. He was up on Vasta Racer in both Sector 1 and Sector 2. Not by much, but combined by about half a tenth. However, that final sector on his first lap, he lost quite a lot of time, over 3 tenths to Vasta Racer. He gained a quarter of a second back on this second attempt, and that puts him just half a tenth behind Vasta Racer here, and in P3 right now.
It was a pretty strong time from Sparks. I'm trying to find anyone finishing up on a lap.
Ferrari has a strong first sector, and even the second sector, he's up half a tenth as well. I think, for the most part, from what I'm seeing from the timing sheets here, is that it always seems to come down to the final sector. In the first 2, there isn't that much difference between all the cars. There isn't that much difference in time. They're all really close and really bunched up. But once you get to the final sector, this is where you really see the good being separated from the great.
Yeah, Vasta Racer just did manage to improve on his lap even further. Now on a 31.7 at the moment. And I think that is all just down to Sector 3 being the most technical part of the circuit. It's so easy to make a mistake through there, and it's really easy to also just lose a fraction of time, which can really separate you from well, a decent enough time and a really, really strong time. So they've got to nail that perfectly, and I'd imagine a lot of practice would have gone into absolutely perfecting that sector. Dario just invalidating in the final sector, which is really unfortunate for him. I believe that puts Matthijs in the next position to finish up on the lap. He's a little bit down through the second sector split. We'll see if he's made it up in this final sector, and he's invalidated just coming out the penultimate corner. That was pretty much in the same style that Gamer did on the last lap.
Yeah, speaking of Gamer, he is one of 2 cars right now on that first DRS straight, alongside, or not alongside, but right behind Suso. Suso being the first one here. So we're going to have a look at him. He is improving right now. First sector almost up by a tenth on his own time. And for him, that final sector really was the straw that broke the camel's back. It really was the sector where he lost the most time to the front runners right now. If he can improve on that, second sector, massive improvement by about a quarter of a second on his own time. That's now 3.5 tenths that he is up, moving up the order. If that final sector gets a lot better than it did, it was a 36.3. The fastest lap by Vasta Racer had a 35.7, so we're talking 6 tenths of a second in that final sector alone. If he finds some of that here, he can move way up, and he doesn't. He does move up 2 places, but it is not enough. In fact, looking at it, Suso's final sector, I think, may have been worse. Indeed it was, by over a tenth. He lost even more time there.
Just not the run that Suso would have wanted. Really unfortunate from him another driver who wasn't able to put a lap in the first wave of game and managed to go up into 6th position. I don't believe anyone else could be pushing at the moment. Darrow's just pulling into the pit lane there. Walter isn't pushing on the lap at the moment. So I think the drivers now are going to start thinking about their final runs in this session. We've only got just under 5 minutes left in qualifying in Abu Dhabi. So it really is crunch time for these guys, but they've got to pull it out of the bag and set a good time.
Yeah, there's only one car right now on a flying lap, and that is CRG Blizzard. Sparks set to start one any moment now as well. He is in the final sector right now, but we're looking at the pink Mercedes as it has been named last season, the Racing Point. Now, obviously, Aston Martin, but we're still on F1 2020, so it is still the Racing Point of CRG Blizzard as he comes through the middle sector. Huge lockup there through the left-hander. Cuts that chicane a little bit, but that is legal. That is allowed. The game does not ding him for that, and we're going to check the second sector split. In the first sector, he did improve, but still 0.004 of a second behind Vasta Racer, and now in the second sector, he loses a 1/10 to himself.
Yeah, he's not looking too strong, and he's just invalidated on his time, so that's going to put a swift end to his run. It seemed like Spark was on an outlap a little bit ago, but he's actually pulled back into the pit lane, so that leaves, except for Blizzard, every car in the pit lane. As I say that, a Ferrari's just pulled out, so has a Williams car of Jordan. He'll be the first one to really try and attempt his final lap in this one, so all eyes going to be on him for quite some time in this one.
Yeah, once again, we see Jordan sort of being the first one out, as he always is. Tries to be the first one out of the pit lane at the start of qualifying, and he is always, almost always, the first one to start a run right at the end of qualifying, with, I think the other one being Dario, who needs a time. He is the only driver right now who hasn't set a lap time, so he really needs to get it going. He really needs to get one lap in. It is easy to invalidate here. Anyone who has raced this track before in F1 2020 knows what I'm talking about. Obviously, these drivers are very, very skilled and very, very capable, as now Juice is leaving the pit lane as well. We have a Haas, we have a McLaren, we have a Red Bull, we have a Mercedes, another Ferrari. Everyone's coming out of the pit lane now. But obviously, Jordan will be the first one to start a lap. And it is so, so easy to invalidate here, to just run a little bit wide, to just cut that corner a little bit too much, and all of a sudden, your lap time just does not count.
Yeah, we've seen multiple times where drivers have got to the end of their laps and they've just completely invalidated. Unfortunately, Lee isn't going to be trying to put in another lap. He's stuck on that 33.2. He's retired in the pit lane. What I'm most worried for Jordan on this lap, he might catch just a little bit of traffic, which will hold him up. But as far as he's concerned at the moment, he's got a clear track in front of him for the time being. He's going to be pushing on this one on the run up towards turn number 1, and he's already invalidated on entry.
Yeah, that is something you wanna extract the most out of the track limits. You wanna use as wide of a track as you are allowed to do, and sometimes even on corner entry, you just run a little bit too wide. You push the limits just a little bit too far, and that's exactly what we see Jordan do here. And he's gonna have to go into no ERS, use this as a sort of regroup. Try again later on. We're looking at Dario, meanwhile. He is still on a run. He has not invalidated just yet. First sector, right now, 10th and a half down on Vasta Racer. The first driver, the highest ranked driver right now, that he is faster than in the first sector, is CRG Matthijs in P10. That does not bode well. But again, the first sector, very short. Losing a 10th there does not hurt you as much. Second sector now, we're trying to see the time come in, 39.4. That is not too bad, ultimately. That is a 10th and a half down on Vasta Racer, and he has invalidated, as I said that. Oh, Dario. He has one more run. He's going straight to no ERS, but he has only about 20 seconds left, and he needs to get to the line. And he might find himself in traffic as we see a Williams going slow. That might be Jordan, actually. This is going to get really close here. With about 12 seconds left, we still have a McLaren there as well. And they all want to start their laps. And Jordan has to get a move on. 5 seconds, 4, 3. Will he come across the line in time? Time runs out, and he Oh, actually, so there might be a little bit of desync here. So the game says he actually was still on time on his screen. As such, he is allowed to complete that lap. But we're looking at Juice right now. He is up by... Let me just quickly see this here. He's on pace to potentially get a top 2 right now across the line, and it is P2 right behind Vasta Racer. Loses a bit in the final sector, but ultimately a good time. Sparks comes across the line. It is P3 behind Juice, and that is going to be important for the potential championship decider. Suso, no better than P11. The good news for him, free tire choice. Vasta Racer, 31.5. Where did that lap come from? If that's not a pole position lap, I don't know what is.
Just managed to pit that in at the very last moment. We've got the Dutchman of Matthijs crossed the line. He just gone into 5th position. His teammate for this week is Time, and he just crossed the line now. He stays in 7th position, only improving by 1,000th of a second. Domi's crossed the line. He's gone into 5th position. And I didn't even see F1 Ferrari has put himself in 4th. So these times are coming thick and fast. Seems like we've got some more drivers in the final sector now. I believe Casper is a couple of tenths up on his lap. Of course, winning it on track in Mexico last week. We'll see if he can pull out a good time here. He goes into 2nd position, but he's still 2 tenths off of Vasta Racer.
Yeah, and Recon, I think, is now the final driver to cross the line. He will be in P13, but, I mean, that is a strong showing right here, as we see one of the Ferraris losing its front wing on the AI'd Vasta Racer. In fact, both cars were AI. So a little bit interesting there, what's going on here. But Vasta Racer takes pole position, Casper 2nd, Juice 3rd. And that is something that could bode well for the championship fight to keep it open for Juice. Because both of his teammates, both of the cars in front of him, they're not teammates in PSGL, but they are both VSR teammates. So there might be some team play going on here, whereas Sparks's first CRG teammate is only down in P7 in Matthijs, so he doesn't have that help around him. He's almost surrounded, with the exception of Ferrari, by VSR drivers, and that might not bode well at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, they were told in the Twitter chat to, I guess, kind of not make it shown that there's a true bias there. So hopefully we won't see too much cross-teaming. Of course, we would only really encourage drivers that are actually teammates of the contenders to really help them out. But yeah, qualifying results on the screen. Vasta Racer, what a performance from him. 2 tenths clear of anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, that is a strong time right there, 31.5. But we've seen before, Vasta Racer, the one thing he does struggle with is the starts. He really is not the best starter, sort of Mark Webber disease, if you want to call it that he is struggling from. And it's going to be interesting to see if he will get off the line. The one thing that does help him is that the run to turn 1 is not very long here. Turn 1 comes up very quickly. In fact, let's quickly, while we are waiting, look at the race info. This is the Yas Marina circuit, 5.554 kilometer long. I wish they had made it 1 meter longer, than it would have been 5.555. That would have just been perfect for my OCD. 28 laps. The first Grand Prix held here in 2009. Obviously, it is a Herman Tilke track. We have 21 corners to go around here. And speaking of 21, you lose about 21 seconds in the pit lane as well. Pit lane exit is something the drivers are going to have to watch out for. It goes underneath the track and then loops around on the left side. Very, very tricky. They can get it wrong. However, these drivers are so experienced that I find it rather unlikely for them to make any mistakes there. But I think the main overtaking opportunities we're going to see into turn 8 and into turn 11, with a potential surprise into turn 1 as well. But I think the main straight is just too short for that, as the drivers now head out onto the formation lap. And let's just quickly look at the tires, and I think there's not much of a surprise there. Top 10 on the softs, everyone outside on the mediums.
Circuit, I do believe you can pull off a soft to medium strategy. I might need to check up on my knowledge there, but I do believe about lap number 10 you could probably go to around on the softs, take the rest on the medium tyres, and that is obviously what the top 10 are forced to do, because they are starting on the tyre that they put their best laps in. as for the drivers outside the top 10, they're going to try and pull off the alternate strategy, going mediums to softs, probably to around about lap 18, and then the last 10 laps on the soft, lighter on fuel, and with the grippier tyres and the medium runners, they're going to be in a very good position, especially the guys like Duncan and Valtters and Recon.
Yeah, looking at the tire data, the in-game tire data, that basically, it is a good way to gauge how far the tires can go. Obviously, personal tire wear plays into it. Have they qualified on the tire? Do they start in the top 10? That plays into it. There's a lot of variables that go into it, but as an idea, the soft tire lasts around 12 laps here, the medium around 17. Time difference between the two, 0.7 of a second. So it's not that much between those two. The one thing that I can promise you we will not see today, I think under any circumstance, is the hard tire. It's 2 seconds slower than the softs and 1.4 slower than the medium. So it's that much slower that I think none of the drivers are interested in using that tire whatsoever.
Really, you do want to try and keep it to the strategy. Sometimes you are really just forced to go onto the hards to get damage early on. I would expect maybe drivers to go right to the end on a set of hard tyres. They can pretty much do the entire race, but they're lining up on the grid. They've got the heat into the tyres. They're going to get ready to go here in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I think if a driver does sustain damage, I think it might be a smarter decision to go, if they start on the soft, medium soft. If they start on the mediums, maybe soft to the end, or maybe medium soft, and the two stop faster than the hards. But either way, here we go. 5 red lights. We are getting underway. The penultimate race of PSGL F1 is underway. And we have again a not that good of a start for Voss Racer, but good enough to keep the lead into turn 1. There's a bit of movement below. Sparks already battling with Ferrari here over P4. He almost lost that. Domi moving up. No, he's battling with Matthijs. He started in P6. And you see how close it gets here. My goodness, they're going side by side through here. Will the field sort itself out? It looks like it now. The top 4, in fact, the top 12 not changed at all.
I've seen a little bit of movement with drivers just fighting it out in the kind of just the top 10 area. Domi was fighting with Ferrari. He's right onto the back of him. I do believe that Dario just got past Christmas Day. You can see there's a Haskar of Gamer trying to go up the inside of Duncan into the first of the chicanes around this circuit, and one of the many chicanes around this circuit. Now they're wheel to wheel coming down the straightaway for the first time. Of course, no DRS until lap number 3. Gamer manages to hang on, of course, on those soft tires, but he's lost a whole chunk of time to really top 9 at the moment. It's about 7% off. That will be easy to claw back, but yeah, overall pretty clean start. I don't believe anyone's got any damage.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Let's just quickly check our telemetry. In fact, yes, everyone completely damage-free. Something we haven't seen all too often this season. There's always this one incident that just happens, but this time they got away through the first lap, all clean, all fair, all nicely. It is very, very nice to see here. Interestingly, the track temperature is flipping a little bit. It started off at 31 degrees. It got a little bit colder. We're down to 30 already. It then slightly went back up to 31 again, and then back down to 30 within the first 3 minutes of the race, including obviously the formation lap. But interesting there. It might get a little bit colder as the race goes on, which might be interesting in terms of tire wear for some of these drivers.
That is just probably due to it being an evening race. Maybe temperatures are kind of just scripted into the game to fall down a little bit. Seems like they've all settled into a bit of a train beginning lap number 3. It looks like Blizzard is onto the back of Matthijs for 7th position, but he's not close enough to try and make a move for it. So yeah, they're all just in one big train at the moment. We haven't seen DRS being enabled. It seems like Christmas and Ash Best are having a scrap through the chicane, and it looks like Ash Best has just gotten the better of Christmas, of course, winning a race earlier on in the season. So yeah, it seems like they're all just in a bit of a rhythm here.
Meanwhile, we are seeing the first driver with damage. It is VSR Jordan in P16. Massive damage on the right side of his front wing from the driver's perspective, left side from our camera perspective. If you look at the front of that car, that front wing is pretty much damaged. The end plate is gone and then some. 50% damage as the game indicates. So significant loss of downforce here for that Williams. And I think Christmas is going to try to find a way past. You see how close he gets to the diffuser of that Williams. Will Jordan pull into the pit lane? That is the question. Yes, he will. But obviously, the damage has been done not just to him, but also to the other 3 drivers that were behind him here in Christmas, Ashbest, and Lee. They have fallen way back, over 2 seconds behind the rest of the pack.
A lot of time lost, but of course only for a minor position of 15th position. Of course, no points for drivers outside the top 10. Now we have seen DRS be enabled, and one driver who's going to be feeling the effects of it is Vasta Racer, because he's got Casper on his tail, 6/10 back at the moment for the lead of the Grand Prix. So he's not going to close enough to make his send into the chicane and the middle part of the second sector. You can see how much he gained under the DRS conditions, and Yost going also deep into the corner, so they are getting their elbow up just a little bit, trying to make up as much time through the corners as they can, so they can really attack on the DRS straight. But Casper not close enough to Vasta Racer. All Vasta Racer needs to do in this one is just keep Casper at an arm's length, and he should be okay.
Yeah, right now it is working out quite well here. Vasta Racer keeping a significant gap to Casper. 7/10 of a second is quite a large gap, considering that Casper does get DRS on 2 long straights on this track. So Vasta Racer doing a fantastic job here, translating that qualifying pace into race pace early on.
Really just got the speed on his rivals. It seems like there's a little bit of a gap getting to form between the top 4 and the rest of the pack, because Ferrari losing time to Sparks, but ahead of him, and that's going to leave him at the mercy of Domi. Coming to the first corner, he's not close enough. He's only 3/10 back from the Ferrari car, so that is some consolation for him that he won't be attacking for the time being. But you've got to think, coming onto the back-to-back DRS straights, he's going to be pounding the rear of the prancing horse.
Yeah, we're gonna see it, but you gotta remember both of them will have DRS down this straight. Ferrari within range, 6/10 of a second. At the detection point, it was a little bit more, but it was still under a second, and so as such, everyone here with the DRS. Will Domi still try and get a move on? No, it doesn't look like it. No one's gaining anything down this straight, and I think the same will be true next straight as well. However, look at how close he is here. Domi really looking threatening now. We're going to go on board. We're going to see this, but look at Ferrari just driving away, trying to pull that gap a little bit bigger, and he is successful in doing so.
Right, it's a bit of his overtake. Of course, the battery that you get to deploy when and you please, when and where you please. I do apologise. So he's utilised a little bit of that, and he's using some of it now just to pull away from Domi a little bit, but he's still losing time to Sparks ahead of him. I think he's probably losing it at the beginning of the third sector, because we've seen now a 7/10 gap form between the pair of them. It's not looking good for Ferrari at the moment, but just to help him, Domi has backed off ever so slightly. But using this much ERS and speaking, I think he's coming to fit in a lot of these drivers. Putting
Juiced!
Yost, Ferrari, Domi, Matthijs, all into the pit lane here.
That is incredibly early, and that I think is a 2-stop for all of them. They think the 2-stop is quicker around here than the 1-stop. Either they think it's quicker, or they think they just don't have the confidence in the tires lasting long enough for the 1-stop. But these are early pit stops for all of them. I'm quite surprised here. Juiced, his tires were on 32% tire wear. That was his rears. That was his highest. So I'm very surprised to see them pit this early. I think this is an undercut. But I don't think they can take the mediums 24 laps around here. I'd be very surprised to see them go that distance on that tire. Let's quickly see. What did they all went on to the mediums here. Juice, Ferrari, Domi, and Matthijs. Now the question is, what are the others going to do? What are Vasta Racer, Sparks, Casper, Blizzard, Timon, Gamer? What are they going to do? Do they react? Or do they stick to their own strategy? If they have a different strategy, do they stick to that and decide to go with a 1-stop here?
Yeah, well, I guess that is all just going to be up to them. Certainly those softs could have been taken a lot longer than they were, but maybe they've got kind of just the confidence in the tires to really push them and take advantage of the undercut strategy, which can work around here. as it does on most circuits. But for the guys in the top 6 at the moment, they are going to be looking to stay out a little bit longer. As I say that, Timon pulls off to the right hand side. He's now into the pit lane here, breaking down into the box just about, of course, 80km/h speed limit. He just chucked in at 79 there, so that was quite worrying for me at least.
Yeah, but he did make it in time, and the mediums go on for him as well. Where's he gonna re-emerge? I think it will be behind Juice at the very least, probably behind Ferrari. Well, we'll only see, because of this pit exit here is very, very tricky, I have to say. He actually re-emerges behind all of them.
So the undercut strategy really playing a treat towards them. Back at the front though, Casper pulled quite the gap behind Vasta Racer. Now 2/10 is what is separating them. He is on Proud, the Dutchman, of course, winning on track last week in Mexico. You can see he's operating his DRS, and now he's using his overtake down the straightaway. He could be going for a move here. He's going to have to go towards the outside line at the beginning of the chicane. Now wheel to wheel, they make a little bit of contact.
He gets shoved off.
And it's really a difficult place to overtake there. And unfortunately for Casper, he wasn't able to pull that one off, and just because they're fighting like this, they're losing time to not only the undercutters, but also the drivers behind them, Sparks, and well, Liz is quite a ways off, but mostly Sparks will be putting on the pressure with them.
Yeah, and I wonder if Casper got a penalty for, or a warning for that. He definitely didn't get a penalty, but he may have gotten a warning for that, for exceeding track limits. And if so, as he now heads into the pit lane, if so, he might be able to appeal that after the race. If he does get a penalty at the end of the day, he might be able to appeal that and say, hey, I had no space. Where was I supposed to go? And be able to have that removed. So we have to be careful here. If Casper does in fact get a penalty at the end of the day, he might get that removed, possibly after the race. So very, very interesting scenario here. I don't know if he did get a penalty. He did get a warning for it though. And I unfortunately have no way of telling. Maybe you do, if you could check the race director. But I unfortunately don't. I don't want to check the race director on the screen right now, because we have a lot of battling going on still. We're looking at the top 4 here again: Vasta Racer, Sparks, Blizzard, and Gamer. I think they really are running a different strategy. They want to make sure that they run the one stop here. They make it to lap 12, lap 13, maybe lap 11, and then they go on to mediums to the end.
Well, I did just check Casper's race director. He luckily didn't get a penalty for that, or a warning for that one there. So
wow.
On that last lap, so he's not going to be able to appeal that. But he has got 2 warnings, 2 things, so he's pretty close to the penalty. Only 1 penalty out on circuit at the moment. That is belonging to Recon. It seems like Blizzard's a little bit of a train forming behind him. All the medium runners, their tyres are beginning to kick in. Blizzard losing the car just a little bit, coming out of the right 90-degree right-hander. So he is struggling on that set of softs. They are getting to the point where the mediums are going to start to become a lot quicker, and we'll see. No, none of them pit. So I think these guys are going to try and really secure that strategy where they are definitively doing a one-stop in this race. But the medium runners like Duncan and Falters are going to be right up to the rear of them very soon.
Yeah, in fact, they are right there already. Gamer is under huge pressure here from that racing point of Duncan. And I think we might be able to see an overtake happen at some point, considering how much faster the medium tires are now. Just to give you an idea, the top 4 on their softs are almost at 50% tire wear. These tires are heading towards their first cliff, where they really start losing some grip. And here goes Duncan down the inside. Not harsh enough of a defense from Gamer. And Duncan sends it into turn 11, or turn 10, sorry, into turn, no, it's turn 8, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, I got my numbers mixed up a little bit. Into turn 8, gets the move done, and now it's a racing point on racing point battle next, and I think Duncan might be able to get that position at a possibly slightly surprising overtaking spot. I think he's going to try something unusual here, considering the pace advantage. No, he's a bit too far away. I thought he was going to go for something here, but he didn't get the exit he desired, and as such, he will not go for the overtake here. A little bit too dangerous, but look at Blizzard sliding around already. That's the 50% tire wear right there. These softs are struggling.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see them pit in the next couple of laps or so, but Duncan will be onto the back end, as will Walters be onto the back of Gamer, so these softs are beginning to fade in this race. Luckily for the top two, they've got quite a big buffer in between the third position, which is currently occupied by Blizzard. I'd imagine Duncan will be trying to hassle him for that move very, very shortly. But they've got quite a nice buffer to the cars behind, so they are in a position that they can relax just a little bit, trying to avoid going off the circuit and getting penalties. I do believe Ferrari picked one up somewhere along the road, but now coming onto the straight once again, this could be deja vu for Duncan, making the exact same path that he made on Gamer. Looks like Blizzard's going to put up a little bit more of a fight, pulling off to the left-hand side to maybe defend the inside line just a little bit there, but it is not enough. It is futile when you've got the speed that Duncan has coming into the corner. That is the move made for the Dutchman. He's now in third position, and he's in a really strong position for this medium tyre.
Yeah, I think Duncan might be setting himself up for a potential race win here if he continues like this. Then again, he will most likely also be on the one stop, which at the same time means that his tires, his soft tires at the end will struggle. And it will be a question of will he be able to hold on if he does get to the lead of the race. It's going to be tricky for these medium runners in the same way it is tricky right now at this very moment for the soft drivers. And actually, we're going to have to look at Wouters here, as he's still not past Gamer. He's still trying to find the way past, and he's not as daring as Duncan was, as we have someone into the pit lane. That is Blizzard coming in, and Wouters stays out. So, a little bit of a... Oh, no, actually, hold on. Blizzard and Gamer come in, and a medium runner in Dario as well. What is happening there?
I'm a bit confused by this, but he's
two-stop.
Yeah, he's gone on to another set of medium tyres. That confirms a two-stop for him. He has to make another stop in this race. Of course, you have to use more than one compound of tyre. He's just come out right behind Gamer. And both these guys on a fresh set of mediums. You can already see how much the undercut has benefited the drivers who pitted in a lot earlier on. It seems like Ferrari's trying to got the inside of Lee. It hasn't worked out with Lee yet to pit in this race. So they are getting very racy down the order. Matthijs making a move on Ferrari, and that was made through the corner. That was a really nice overtake for Matthijs, and Timon could be onto the back of the Ferrari car as well. So double team by the Alfa Romeo team. Really nice teamwork between the pair of them.
Yeah, well done. It's not over yet here for Timon. He still has to get that position here, but I think the shorter way through the corner helps him here. And now Matthijs spins on Lee. Oh my goodness, they come together. I don't want to assign any blame here, but Matthijs certainly spins, loses time, loses positions, and now Lee falling back behind Timon and Ferrari, maybe a bit shook from that incident as well. And Timon and Ferrari both make up 2 positions. In fact, Timon really makes up 3 positions, and Ferrari only 1, as Timon also overtook Ferrari earlier on in this lap. So Timon really the huge winner of lap 10, and Duncan has made it past Sparks, as both Vasta Racer and Sparks are now in the pit lane. And we see them come in here. Vasta Racer gonna go for mediums. Sparks gonna go for mediums. And they will go to the end on these tires.
So now you've got to expect Domi to be the net race leader. He's got Yost just behind him as well. So Yost himself in a really good position with this strategy here. But will those tires make it to the end? He's already been on them for 5 laps now. So it is going to be tough if you want to try and take it to the end, which I doubt will be possible. It seems like Sparks emerged behind Dario. Of course, Dario was on the same strategy.
Yeah, meanwhile, Blizzard is pushing Lee through the slow part of the beginning of the second sector, and now he goes past him. I don't know what's going on with Lee. He's struggling mightily right now. I see that the tire's obviously quite old, but I mean, you look at the top 5, top 6 actually, they're on the same tire. They're not struggling as much. What is going on with VSR Lee here? Really, really slow, really struggling on that tire. I think it might be time for him to pit.
What I think it might be is he's about to go overtake his teammate in Vasta Racer, but I think it just got to be that these guys have fought him and he struggled to pace early on in the race, and the drivers that have already pitted on much fresher tyres might look like they're bad, but in comparison it probably is kind of volumized quite some bit. So I'd assume Lee. He's not in a bad shape at the moment. But he's just being overtaken by everyone, and well, if anyone else was in the same position as there's a
Oh, yellow
car spun, I
flag.
think that is Christmas.
Christmas,
It's
yeah.
pit lane.
Did he spin into the pit lane?
I didn't see that one.
He doesn't have damage from what I can see here. He does not have damage. But yeah, certainly a weird one there. No, he does have damage. He did sustain damage and significant damage. Right side front wing completely gone. Left side 63% damage. It didn't update in time, but indeed he did have massive damage there. Maybe he got turned around by someone. I don't know, but we didn't catch that. But I wish there was a replay system on this game. But yeah, that is an unscheduled pit stop, and he goes on to soft, so I think he'll have to pit again. Oh, almost loses the car there on pit exit. My goodness, that was a lot of weaving there, a lot of sliding for Christmas there as he makes his way out of the pit lane now in stone dead last. And I think Casper might be going for a move here on Ashbest. The two Renault teammates on the back straight here, the second part of the back straight, and Casper. That was really an easy overtake there, not very challenging for the Dutch F1 Esports Pro Series driver.
It's really easy for Casper, and Domi and Joost also managed to get past there. Ashbest coming through, I believe, the first part of the chicane and through the first DRS straight off the lap. So yeah, Ashbest losing a lot of time. 6.3 seconds is the gap between Domi.
And here goes Matthijs in a daring move on Lee. My goodness, that was the surprise move I was expecting earlier, and it didn't happen this time. Matthijs on Lee, sending it there. That is a daring overtake. This is not an overtaking opportunity usually, but I think Lee is just struggling massively, and it needs to be said, Matthijs has a slight amount of front wing damage. 12%, he decides to stay out and stick out with it. But even with that damage, that makes the overtake even more impressive. My goodness, what a daring attempt, and it paid off.
Oh, a really strong maneuver from the Dutchman. His teammate at the moment, Timon, looking to make some moves on Ashbest. It should be an easy overtake. That is an absolute slaughter of Ashbest now coming down the straightaway. Tell you what, Ash is still fighting it though, but it is not going to be enough. Timon pulls back off to the right hand side. It seems like there's more moves up ahead, because it seems like Casper's onto the back of Joost. There's contact between the pair of them. I think Joost wanted to go for a move on Domi, and now this for the net
2
race
and 1.
lead. Joost putting in. Oh my goodness, they look at Casper behind as well. They could be almost 3 abreast now, coming into the chicane. Casper to the outside of Joost. Could he have deja vu? What happened with Casper? He just stayed behind, but Joost moving in to a net race lead here.
Yeah, what a move there. They almost went 3 abreast, but Domi just had no pace whatsoever. He got absolutely swarmed by Joost and Casper, the Dutch duo right there, taking Domi for chips and taking the net lead and net second in this race.
Of course, now the advantage is going to shift back to Domi, because of course he will have DRS on the car in front, which he didn't have before. But all this fighting is not going to be helping their tyres by any stretch of the mile. So Casper's probably not going to try and fight Joost too much here, especially since Joost is fighting for the championship. It's best not to get involved and make yourself look like the bad guy, the one that ruined the championship opportunity. So I'd imagine they're not going to scrap too hard. Maybe down the straight you could see some fight, but they've all used up their ERS in that fight. So I wouldn't assume they'll be fighting too hard for the next couple of laps.
Yeah, meanwhile, we got a huge ding-dong battle here between Ashbest, Ferrari, and Blizzard. We're on board with Blizzard here. And my god, is that close. They are driving nose to tail here. Blizzard trying to get a move on. He's running out of ERS soon. Trying to get some slipstream. Blizzard, Ferrari now has almost nowhere to go. And there goes Vasta Racer as well. This is 4 drivers battling here. Vasta Racer left out to dry. Really no chance for him to get any position here. Now he does get it on Ashbest at least, and might get one on Ferrari as well. I think that's a double overtake from Vasta Racer. Ferrari, though, is not going to give that up all too easily. Oh, no, he is now. And Ashbest is sending one down the inside of Ferrari and gets a slight tap to the front axle. And as such, he almost spun. Well held by Ashbest, needs to be said, but he's now under pressure from Gamer. And Dario right behind immediately falls back into the next group.
Him right back into the tracks of Gamer. Gamer getting so close through the right-hander there. So really struggling at this point. Ash Best have only got a couple more laps to do on this same set of mediums before they can come in to take this off towards the end of the Grand Prix. So it's not over for Ash. Yo's pulling into the pit lane now to take off that medium compound of tyre. He'll be going on softs towards the end, I'd assume. He, of course, that Williams pit box right at the end of the pit straight. And I'm just trying to see it's mediums for Yost. He probably could have done that stint that he's just done on a set of softs there. So 2 medium stints for the Dutchman, of course, in the championship contention position. And now he's just got to get his head down and go right to the end here.
Yeah, I think one thing that really stands out is that these drivers do not like to take the tires beyond sort of 50%. Usually on most tracks, you see drivers take them to 70, 75, 80%. Maybe because it is quite easy to overtake here on this long straight, the drivers just don't enjoy running. As we see here, Gamer and Dario go past Ash Best and Sparks, trying to get away through, but he's not able to do so. And now this battling holds him up a little bit. That's something he can't afford. He has to get past them right now. He is in a net 5th position, considering who still has to pit in front of him and who doesn't. So he's really not liking this right now, as Ashbest tries to send one up the inside of Dario again, just like last lap, and once again he almost spins.
I think that Sparks probably cursing at his monitor just a little bit here, but back up in front of the field, well, for the net race lead, Domi is feeling the pressure from Casper. He tried going for a move in through the second chicane, I believe, at the end of the second sector. He wasn't able to pull it off, but now Domi pulling off to the right-hand side. He's going to come into the pit lane here. 9 laps on that set of medium tyres,
10.
as is Timon as well. So all these guys pulling off their 2-stop strategy. They will be going back onto probably set of softs, I'd expect. No, all mediums. So
they like the mediums here. The mediums, the thing is, as mentioned before, the mediums only 7/10 of a second slower, but they have a lot more durability in them. And so I think the mediums are the preferred tire here for most drivers, because they are just that much that little slower, just a bit slower, but much more consistent. So the drivers really enjoy it here on these tires. They don't feel like they lose too much time. Whereas with the softs, maybe there could be some overheating issues as well. And so they don't want to use the softs, as sure, they are a bit quicker, but with the overheating issues, it might be that they do lose that time again. So the medium here, the tire of choice for pretty much everyone.
Of course, now they have got to go to the end on that set, and for Yost, he's just got to push as much as he can. Of course, mediums, as you said, a lot more durable than the softs, though only 4 laps separating the tyres live between Sparks and Yost. Not all over. Timon managing to find a way past Lee, who's still yet to pit on this set of tyres. So I think that's twice Timon's now overtaken Lee. He's just not having a good day at the office. I'd expect these front runners, the top 4, probably in the next 2 laps, we'll see them all into the pit lane.
Yeah, I think so as well. Not this lap apparently, but I think, yeah, lap 17 should be the time for them to come in. In fact, their tires are now all at least 65% tire wear. 70 is that magic mark that we always talk about being sort of the moment when these tires can in fact puncture. And I don't think they want to risk that, so I think Aero, Duncan, Wouters, Suso, and Recon will all come into the pit lane. Possibly Ashbest as well. His tires look a little bit better, but not enough. And I think the same goes for Lee as well, down in P18 right now. I think they will all come into the pit lane either this lap or the next one. Suso and Recon have to figure this out, because, I mean, they're teammates. They're right behind each other. Less than a second, so a double stack is not an option here. And they are going to be under pressure from Blizzard, Casper, and Vosterrace are right behind as well. We see the 2 McLarens right up front there. So this could really get interesting here.
I'd imagine Recon probably going to box opposite to his teammates. So if Suso comes in, he's going to stay out. And then if he decides to stay out, he will pull into the pit lane. 11 laps most likely is doable for them on the set of soft tyres. Of course, there will be pretty worse for wear towards the end of the Grand Prix, but you can see this McLaren driver really holding up Blizzard in his part. You can see he's pretty much pushing him through the final sector here. Is he going to pull into the pit lane? He can't because Suso pulls in. And now this is going to cause issues for Blizzard. But on exit, he's got a much better run than the McLaren. And now running side by side, coming towards turn number 1. That was a nice move from Blizzard. It puts a car in between himself and Casper for at least a lap here. So that is going to be a little bit relieving for him. And we've got a car off, and that is Ashbest, unfortunately, into the pit lane.
Yeah, let me just quickly find it. There we go. Into the pit lane he goes. Can we see any damage on his car? I'm trying to see. Yeah, massive damage. Left side, 100%. The front wing gone. Right side, 19%. Slight damage, but yeah, has to pit. There's the front wing change. And for Ashbest, it's all gone to shambles now, as we need to focus now on the top 5 right now, as Casper and Recon run side by side into turn 8. Recon later on the brakes, they touch. Recon too late on the brakes. And now Vasta Racer might be able to slip through, and he does.
Yeah, now Casper's going to be without DRS down the straightaway because he managed to overtake Recon. We'll see if Vasta's got any answer for us. He's ran out of overtake and he can't get close enough. Coming down into the chicane at the end of the second sector, of course, turn 11 around here, and he's not been able to find a way through on Casper. That could have been an opportunity, but he had no answer for it. So he's still got, without DRS, of course, to Blizzard, Vasta's still got the opportunity to go for a move on Casper in the next couple of laps here.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm looking at Sparks and Juice right now. That is obviously our championship battle. Right now, the championship would still remain open until the final race, but the gap would be 16 points, so Juice would have to win, and Sparks, in fact, win with the fastest lap, and Sparks would not be allowed to get a point. So that would be the situation if they finish like this. Obviously, there's still a lot of moving parts here. Duncan now in the pit lane. Casper in the pit lane, Recon in the pit lane, all 3 now coming in. And just to explain, as Recon leaves the session, I think that might be not voluntary. I think he lost connection, not by leaving himself, but just losing connection. I hope he can rejoin. I hope he has an extra invite, that he's able to take control of his car again. Because otherwise, my goodness, this is going to be quite unfortunate, because he is on a strategy that might favor him, but right now he's losing so much time that it's really going to be a struggle. As here goes Duncan already on time, and that's 1 position gained for the Dutchman on another Dutchman. And Wouters and Duncan should be making their way through the field rather quickly, especially Domi and Juice right in front. Those should be some easy targets right there.
That will cause major issues for Yost if that is the case.
Christmas.
Lost another car, Christmas around in the second
spun.
sector. Doesn't look like it's got any visible wing damage there. But as I was saying, Wouters and Duncan are going to be, like a freight train behind Yost and Domi. And if they can't catch Sparks by the end of it, could be issues. And Sparks could be winning the championship here in Abu Dhabi. What a style to do it in. Of course, at the circuit that normally ends the season. He could be crowned champion of PSGL F1. Yeah,
meanwhile, for Christmas, you said no visible damage. In fact, no damage at all for him. So even the invisible damage, not there. He has a pristine front wing. Maybe a bit of dirt on it, but not necessarily any damage for him, as we try and look at the P6, P7, P. I think we can now call the top 5 also the net leaders of the race, because I don't think anyone in the top 5 is going to pit again.
No, you wouldn't expect it. So Blizzard, that means he'll be leading this race, and himself and quite some margin Christmas retiring from the session in the pit lane. So we don't have to worry about any safety cars spoiling the action. As for Wouters, he's now only 4 tenths back from Domi. Of course, Domi's still got that DRS on the car in front, so it is a bit of a lifeline for him at this point.
We have a yellow flag in sector 1. That is Christmas's car re-entering the track, unfortunately, because that is a feature on this game. Yeah, now yellow flag, sector 1, sector 2. That's still the same incident. Don't worry about it. He will retire on track, or not on track, but off track somewhere. There shouldn't be a safety car for it, or in fact a virtual safety car, so we should be fine here. In fact, his car has now parked off to the side, as we look at this gaggle of cars here. Juice, Domi, Wouters, Duncan, Timon, all together here. Even Suso sort of loosely attached to this group as Dario does in fact pit with 8 laps to go. That is a surprising move here. Why is he pitting for softs now? He was in such a good position.
It started on the medium tires, so he did 2 mediums.
Oh, yes.
Have to go into the softs.
Yes.
And unfortunate for him there. 4th and 5th. Is that more than 2
Oh,
points?
Matthias is out.
Oh,
What has
that's
happened there?
insane, it seems.
Yeah, he had some green front wing damage, 12%, but I don't think that's why. I think I don't understand. And maybe, you know, maybe there's something, maybe something broke on his rig. Maybe I have no explanation for this, but very, very unlucky there for Timon. He is out of this race, only the 2nd retirement today.
Yeah, now looking back at the fight for 5th position, Domi is right onto the rear of Joost here. He could be going it. Of course, VSR Alliance does not mean anything to him because he wants this position. He's going to pull to the left-hand side to try and make the move on Joost. Championship ending. Wouters
here
as well.
goes Wouters.
He's going to try for it through the chicane. Has he made the move stick? He's
No, Wouters spins.
Damage.
Oh, now Wouters taking the shortcut here across the grass. A little bit of rallycross action here in Abu Dhabi. And he is now down to P10, but he lost quite a few seconds, but not as much as he would have lost had he taken that corner normally. However, also needs to be mentioned, Duncan now with front wing damage as well. 38% on the left side of that front wing. He will come into pit. You see the end plate is gone. And he will come in to get a new front wing. Will he possibly even retire? That is the question. He might. I hope he continues, but it might actually be race over for Duncan. No, he does continue. Goes on to another set of softs, new front wing, and will fall down all the way to about, it should be 15th, 16th for him.
It's just so unfortunate, but well, he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Completely not his own, and not his fault at all. But this has put Sparks in a championship winning position here, because Joost hasn't got DRS to Domi, and Gamer's got a 3-second time penalty, which will put Sparks in P3. That's all he needs.
Well,
championship.
He would be all right with P4, because you got to remember P4 gives you 8 points here, P6 gives you 5, so that would be 3 points. He only needs 2. So even if Juiced is able to move past Domi, Sparks would still win the championship. Juice would need the fastest lap on top of a 5th place to stay in this championship. So right now it seems rather unlikely. The fastest lap is held by Christmas, who has retired earlier on. So it's very, very unlikely here for Juice to get anything done. His tires are fresher, so he should be able to potentially get closer to Sparks, but right now it seems like the championship is going to be decided here.
Of course, nothing is confirmed until the checkered flag falls. All Joost has got to do is just fight with all his might and try and close up to the Haas drive. But if need be, for Sparks, Gamer will most likely let him through. Of course, these two good friends as well, so I think they would be willing to help each other out from time and time again, and will probably drop back and try and hold up Joost, which could just help Sparks that little bit more. But he might not even need it here, because it doesn't seem like Domi is catching as much as I thought he would at this point, and Sparks now also got DRS on Gamer ahead, though he's just dropped out of it, but he's so close to being able to get DRS. I think Vasta Racer also could be going for a move. This is for the race lead, of course, Blizzard with a penalty, but they want to do it on circuit because here comes Vasta Racer in a place we've seen familiarly making moves, and he makes it coming into the corner. Blizzard's got no answer for it. Vasta Racer now moves into the lead of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and looking at the tire data, you can see that this 1 lap fresher tire means about 4 to 5% less tire wear on Vasta Racer's tire. In fact, Vasta Racer taking really good care of the fronts here compared to Blizzard. 8% on the front left, 6% on the front right. So Vasta Racer really handling those front tires well. Rear tires 4% difference on both the left and the right. this 1 lap difference there between these tires is, I think, a little bit less, as that was a massive slide there from Blizzard. But it might, in fact, happen that Blizzard now falls off the back of Vaster and Vaster could just drive off into the sunset and potentially win this race.
Development here. I've just noticed, next to Yosta's name, he's got a 3-second time penalty. And this could be the final nail in the coffin for his championship. Because now this does not, even if he gets past Domi, he's now got to put out a 3-second gap. It could be all over for him. And he's also got Suso on 5-lap on soft tyres right behind him. So this really could be where it all unravels for Yost. Could be heartbreak for him and well, celebrations for Sparks all round.
Yeah, not just that. Timon also overtook Juiced. However, Timon himself is on 9 seconds of penalties, so Juiced will get that position back. However, he will not get a position on Domi unless he gets back to Domi and bridges a gap by 3 seconds to distance him. And even then, as mentioned, Juiced would need a P5 right now as it stands and the fastest lap, and for Sparks to get a 3-second penalty as well. So all of these would have to come together, because right now Sparks is, well, technically in front of Gamer. As Gamer has a penalty, Sparks doesn't. So that would promote Sparks up to P3. And at this point, Juice would then need a P4. So he would need to overtake Gamer himself. And that is a gap that is just a little bit too big, I think. But we still have about 4 laps left to go as Vaster will cross the line right now to start lap 25. 4 laps to go in the penultimate race of the PSGL F1.
Absolutely, of course, it might not all be over, of course, Sparks with 2 seconds, not 2 seconds, 2 warnings to his name. So it could still unfold for him, since Domi is now within a 3-second window that he could have to actually take the position from Sparks. If he does get a penalty, of course, that is all circumstantial. But I'd expect Sparks to try and make a move on his teammate here, Gamer, who seemingly is struggling with his tyres a little bit. 14 laps is not going to be healthy, but here now opening up the DRS for 3rd position on circuit. I don't think Gamer would fight this one too hard, given a healthy dose of slipstream down the straightaway and coming back over to the right hand side. That is P3 for Sparks, and it could be all over here.
Yeah, and that is the kind of teamwork that is still allowed in PSGL. Obviously, between different teams, drivers from different teams, but from the same esports organization, that sort of collaboration is not very fondly seen. But they are both Haas drivers. They are allowed to work together. They are in a team, and as such, that is perfectly fine. Gamer now paving the way for a CRG Spark Season 27 championship.
I just think all of it has gone down to that risky 2-stop strategy not working out for the drivers who attempted it. The top 4,
well,
all drivers who attempted the same strategy.
You say that. They're coming up to those 2 Haas. Domi is about 1.5 behind Gamer with still 3 laps to go. Timon is on his back. Juice is on his back. I mean, this could still be an absolute crescendo of a finish here.
Of course, it is one thing to catch a car, and it is a whole other ball game to overtake them. So it will be tough for Domi, but he is closed at a rate of knots to game. He's not losing much time. He's only 400s down. And when I was so sure that it could have all been over, it might not be through and through. This still could go right to the end here.
Yeah, you gotta think about these medium tires on Sparks' car, on Gamer's car especially, on Blizzard's car even, although Blizzard is too far away here for these drivers to catch him. But Sparks and Gamer, these tires are struggling now. 55% on the rears for Sparks, 60% on the rears for Gamer. This is really, really difficult now to keep control of this car. And I tell you one thing, there is one corner on this track that on worn tires is incredibly dangerous. It is very easy to lose the rear of the car, and it's a corner that is almost seemingly not so dangerous because the drivers run through it flat out, and we'll get to it as soon as Vaster starts lap 27 because it is in the first sector, and I can show you where it is. As right now, I don't think there's going to be too much battling going on. I'm talking, of course, about turn 3, that long right-hander. We're going to get there. Turn 1 here. for Voss. That's fine. That's not a struggle on used tires. Turn 2 is fine. You might get a little bit of a twitch on, but usually it's fine. Here, this turn 3, right at the end, you can really struggle if you just have a little bit too much steering input. All of a sudden, that rear gets all loose. And if you then overcorrect to the other side, to the right side, you then find yourself in the wall. If you overcorrect to the left side, all of a sudden, you find yourself spinning in a vast land of tarmac and far away from the track. So you would have to get back to the track and it would take a long time. So you really have to be careful here as Domi maybe now trying to get a move on Gamer. Sparks has run away a little bit. Oh, look at this. They're nose to tail once again. Gamer trying to hold him up, trying to play rear gunner here for his championship, potentially championship winning teammate, but Domi makes his way past. That is one position, and Domi is the biggest threat to Sparks right now. Sparks could fall down to P4, but Sparks can afford to fall down to P4 because Juice would then still have to get P5 and the fastest lap to still be in championship contention.
So really the main priority for Joost is to get past Gamer, because of course Timon has got an abundance of penalties in this race. It was going to shaft him right down the pecking order in this one, but I'd still expect Joost to try and put up a fight with the driver and expect Timon to probably try and go for a move on Gamer. You can see how he's just trying to push him through the main straight here. He didn't want to make a move through turn number 1. It's a very tricky corner to get, but on the final lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Domi has got 1 second window. That is DRS for the Italian driver, and it could put Spark in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're looking at Gamer, Timon, and Juice because they are pushing each other here through this corner, and now I think Timon is going to try and attempt the overtake. This might be good for Juice because if he gets past Gamer as well, then he's going to be able to use the DRS off of Timon to get up to P5. Here go, Timon has passed. Juice now has the inside and pushes Gamer to the outside, has that position, but he's too far away to make a move on Timon. Timon and Gamer, and yeah, there we go. Hold on.
3 wide down the straightaway. Who's going to get the braking zone? That's 3 abreast coming through the same. This does not work. 3 into 1.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my word, he's gone off the circuit twice there, but it is Joost moving into 6th position. I believe Vastorace is about to come across the line to win this race. Domi can't find a move on Spark. I think it might all be over.
Yeah, here comes Vastorace. I mean, well, we got to cover that. Vastorace comes across the line, started on pole position. The one-stop saw him through, and he wins this race on medium tires. Vastorace winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Blizzard 2nd, Sparks coming home in 3rd, and with Domi in 4th. Hold on a second, what is going on here? Domi in 4th, but let's check the fastest lap. Domi does not have it, and as such, Sparks is still crowned the Season 27 champion. CRG Sparks wins PSGL F1.
I don't believe what I am seeing here. Of course, I'm not supposed to be biased, but this is a very, very special moment for me, just seeing Spark finally getting the luck that he deserves this season. He is your PSGL F1 champion, and words can't describe how he's feeling. And myself, I think tonight is a good night.
Yeah, I think tonight is a good night, certainly for CRG Sparks. He's gonna enjoy that one. Looking, meanwhile, at the championship standings in the Constructors, Haas had a 12-point lead. Let me just quickly do the math in my head if I can. 12-point lead over Williams. Williams scored only 6. Haas scored 14. That's 8 more. That is 20. That is not enough. You need 28. So the Constructors goes to next week. Haas not crowned champions just yet, but what we can show you, first off, we will show you the provisional race results, obviously pending potential penalties from the stewards post-race, but we'll take it for what it is right now. Voster Race P1, Blizzard P2, Sparks with a podium, crowning himself champion. Domi 4th, Juiced 5th, Suso 6th, Suso 6th, Gamer 7, Casper 8, Vouchers 9, Dario with the final point after starting in P19. What a run that was. I mean, that is remarkable. But I gotta say, I think there are a couple drivers who probably would deserve driver of the day. I think Blizzard from P8 up to 2nd. We have Sousa from 14 to 8, Dario from 19 into the points. 19th was last. Remember, we only had 19 drivers. From last into the points doesn't happen all too often. So I think there are a couple drivers who deserve driver of the day. You get to vote later on this week on the Twitter at PremierSimGL if you want to take part in that. Twitter.com/PremierSimGL. But I think we're going to try to get the top 3 in here for some interviews. But we obviously have something prepared. Your Season 27 PSGL F1 champion, CRG Sparks. And speaking of the man... Oh, never mind, he left again. Speaking of the man, let's bring him in. Sparks, congratulations.
Thanks.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, as you'd imagine. First big title in league racing in my career, so couldn't be happier.
Yeah, talk us through this race. I mean, there were so many different strategies, 1-stop, 2-stop. How nerve-wracking was it to not know where you truly are until you really sort of get an idea in, like, what was it, lap 20, 21, 22, when you first possibly thought, hey, this might actually work out tonight?
I mean, it was after quali. I qualified behind Houston. Obviously, that was the guy I had my eye on throughout this whole race. And I thought, I messed up my lap miserably out the final corner. And I thought, this is going to be tough if he's doing the 1-stop. It turned out he was doing the 2-stop. And I was like, all right, okay, we have a chance here. So then we got into clean air. Then traffic came. And I felt my heart sink into my stomach. It was just trying not to get wind damage the whole race, pretty much, at that point. And the traffic really made it bad. And I saw Yus come out behind me about 7 seconds back. And he wasn't gaining. If anything, I was gaining in him a bit. And then... it came to about lap 23, 24 maybe, and I just saw chaos going on behind. And at that point, I was pretty certain it would be confirmed. But yeah, I had 2 warnings the whole race as well, so I was driving very cautiously. So I'm just relieved for it to be over.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, those 2 warnings. When did you get the second warning, roughly? When was that?
I think it might have been... I think I was following Matthias. I can't remember if I was in the mediums or soft. I was following Matthias after he got damage. And we were going so slow, and I turned, and obviously we were going so slow, the car just dipped in, and yeah, I cut the corner.
Yeah, what lap roughly was that?
I mean, maybe, I don't know, it would have been something from like, I think it was in the medium, so like 10 to 15 maybe.
So you've basically done half the race, at least, on 2 warnings, and not being allowed to get another one.
Yeah.
How stressful was that? I mean... you're battling over a championship. You can make yourself the champion, but if you get a penalty, that could all be sort of stalling for another week. The pressure, the mental pressure. Explain that to me, because I can't imagine it.
Yeah, it was horrible. I was trying to also catch Gamer and getting his VRS, because I would be able to save a bit of VRS as well, because had none. And I was trying to push to the limit, make sure the guys behind weren't catching, not getting a warning. It was horrible, to be honest. But I trusted myself. I was on the limit the whole race, and I trusted my skills, and it came out well.
Yeah, and how much of a role did your teammate Gamer play in this race? How important was he to you clinching that championship?
This race, I'm not too sure. I mean, I came out... he pit lap 9 and undercut me, and at that point I thought that was probably the lowest point in the race, where I thought that was it and I was going to lose it, or not lose it, or not finish it, to say the least. And then we obviously got into clean air a bit, and I was trying to overtake him, trying to get into the DRS. And as soon as I got in DRS, he just started sliding all over the place. And I just told him, I was like, right, I'm going to pass you here. And obviously he's not going to fight it. And then I passed him, and then he dropped off quite significantly. I think his tyres were really gone at that point. So it wasn't a huge factor, but obviously it was nice to have him there just to let me by and not fight it.
All right, Dan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, well, first of all, Wilson, huge congratulations on
My
your
boy!
championship.
Thanks, Daniel.
Honestly, it's a great night for the both of us. But now that you've won the championship, what's your next goal in league racing?
To keep winning.
Fair enough. Do you think next time challenges come by, now that you're 16 years old, how much are you going to give to get into that esports dream?
Oh, we're going to give it all. There's already a lot of things going on behind the scenes. We're going to give that even more than we have gave the PSGL season. It's been, I know there's one race left, but it's been a crazy season, to be honest. It's been in and out, and I'm kind of looking forward to having a break and just taking Japan. It's a bit of fun. But yeah, we're going to give the challengers 150% when we can do it.
Well, I wish you all the best when that time comes at the end of the year. But I think now you gotta celebrate now.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. I'll make sure to celebrate in the Insta chat.
All right. Let's quickly. I want to see, are Voster Racer and Blizzard gonna join as well? That's the question. Because those two were P1 and P2 in this race, and we got to do some more driver interviews as well. But I don't think they are joining. I don't see them in the waiting room. I don't think they will come in here. In fact, Voster is on his phone right now, so I think he might not be joining. But my goodness, what a race it was. And we have crowned a new champion. It is CRG Sparks winning the title. The Constructors title still open. I'm quickly trying to calculate if Alfa Romeo is still in contention. Obviously, they were 24 points behind before this race, and with a 0-0, Mata is obviously retiring, and Timon in P11, I think they are now fully out of contention, and it is now down to Haas and Williams, and a 20-point gap between those two teams. So that is not decided yet, but it's looking very good for the double for Haas. And with that, I think we are going to look at next week. It is March 8th, and it is the grand finale of PSGL Season 27. And I mean, it is one of the best tracks to end a season on. It is Suzuka. It is the Japanese Grand Prix. And we are very much looking forward to seeing you there. Make sure you subscribe to the PSGL YouTube channel, because we have a whole lot of content here. We have the PC side. We have the Xbox side. We have the Formula Performance tomorrow. And, of course, all the PlayStation tiers on Thursday, on Sunday, and next Monday, March 8th. We will be here with the F1 and with a big celebration of Season 27 all around. With that, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.